Hey guys, I'm Aaron Middleton and today we're going to make a stunning salmon ravioli with a cream and dill sauce. Pasta work is a key skill for every aspiring chef, but before we look at the process, we've got to look at the ingredients we're going to use. Because all great food starts with great ingredients and you can't make a great salmon ravioli without great salmon. This is Wild Alaska canned salmon, which offers more than just great flavour, it's a nutritional powerhouse. Packed with essential nutrients like zinc, magnesium, calcium and iron, which help fight the common cold, protect your DNA and maintain strong bones. Rich in omega-3 fatty acids, high in protein and vitamins A, C, D and E. Wild Alaska salmon supports heart health, brain function, it can regulate your mood swings and it's crucial for good eyesight. Now we know a bit more about the salmon, let's get into how we can bring this beautiful product into your kitchen. Now when you're making a ravioli, there's a couple of key things you need to get in place before you're able to cook the actual dish. It's a dish of 3 stages. The first one is your pasta, the second one is your filling, and the third one is your sauce. So we're going to start off with the pasta. 100 grams of pasta flour, 0 flour with 1 egg. And that's all you're going to need to start making this beautiful pasta dough. Now, the flour that we're using is 0 flour. What does that mean? It basically refers to the fineness of the milling. So 0 is the finest you can get, then you get 0, then 1, then 2. The reason we use 0 flour for pasta is because we want that really smooth, silky, velvety texture. So for this, grab your egg, crack them straight into your bowl, and then use your hands and go straight in there and mix it all around. And then once you've sort of brought it together, you'll end up with this sticky paste with a lot of crumbs. Now instead of mixing, you're gonna squeeze. Folding, pushing into the bowl. When it's just starting to fold together, you wanna empty it out onto your board. And now with the palm of your hand, you use that with a straight arm and push your weight down like you're trying to push through the bench. And that'll basically allow that force to get transferred into the dough. You'll start to work that gluten, the protein inside the flour, and make sure all of that egg is hydrating every inch of that 0 flour. Now gluten is strengthened 2 ways. It's hydration over time or by working it. And that energy strengthens the gluten strands in the flour, which then gives you a really nice, beautiful, stretchy pasta. At this stage, you should end up with a beautiful little puck, almost like Play-Doh, very, very smooth, all come together. We're gonna wrap this down in cling film and let it rest in the fridge. It needs to be in there for a minimum of half an hour, but it can be in there to up to 24 hours. That's one element done. The next one is the filling, and it starts with this stunning bowl of Wild Alaska canned salmon. Now, when you open the can, there will be a few little bits of the spinal cord to take out of the fillet, but that's fine. And to be honest, you can eat them anyway. Everything in that can is 100% edible and it's packed full of flavor. So we take our salmon straight into our bowl. And with those big flakes and chunks of the flesh, you can just tell the quality is there. Now, a filling of a ravioli can be anything you want. Obviously, we're doing salmon today, but to bind that salmon and carry that protein through, you need ricotta. It's creamy, it's light, and it will complement the salmon beautifully. So get that into the bowl. And now the base foundations of that mix are in there, the ricotta, the salmon, we're gonna start adding on flavor. And at this stage, it's not meant to look pretty. This is about adding ingredients to up the flavor and the freshness. Grab 1 lemon, and with a microplane or fine grater, we're just gonna rub that over the top to extract that first layer of zest. Now the zest is in there, a good pinch of cracked black pepper, good pinch of salt. I use flake sea salt, so make sure you like the salt that you're cooking with. Now you may not have seen this herb before, or some of you may have. This is dill. It is an anise powerhouse of a herb. A soft herb will complement the fish beautifully. So you take a good pinch of that, about 10 grams, roll it up, and then get your knife and you're just going to gently chop through. We don't want to bruise the herb, we don't want to smash it up, we just want to slice it nicely with our knife and then get it into that mix. Our salt, our pepper, our lemon zest, our herbs are all in there. The beautiful fatty richness from that salmon and from the ricotta. This is starting to have the building blocks of an amazing ravioli filling. Now, we need to hit it with acidity, juice, fresh lemon juice. I want to hit the juice of 2 lemons, but I'm going to use the zest of this one in our sauce. So before I juice it, making sure I'm using the maximum amount of the lemon, we get the zest into a different bowl just to set aside for later on. And when you're zesting, you only want to take the yellow bit off. The yellow is where the flavor is, that's where the perfume is. The white bit is bitter and it will ruin your dishes. We've zested our lemons, now you need to roll them. The reason you roll your citrus before you cut it open is because you're trying to break up those sort of segments inside before you've even cut the thing or tried to squeeze it. That's going to allow the maximum amount of juice to come out when you squeeze it. Just let your fingers hang underneath to catch any of those pips that come out and get all of that stunning juice, that hit of acidity into your mix. Already when you're looking into your bowl, you should be able to visualize the taste. You've got the freshness from that green herb, the little flecks of lemon from the zest, that strong hit of juice that's going to cut through the fat and carry that flavor up. Now you just give it a good mix and we'll set that aside. Now give it a taste, make sure you're happy with your salt level, with your pepper, with your acidity. That's absolutely bang on. Now this will be a big powerhouse flavor. It may even be a little bit too much, but what you've got to remember is you've got to flavor that plain pasta. Now we're gonna stick that in the fridge just while we roll out the pasta. Now we're gonna roll on this pasta machine here. To set up your pasta machine, you need to get a folded cloth underneath, put your pasta machine on top, and then clamp it into position. The reason you put a folded cloth underneath is just to make sure your work surfaces don't get scratched and dented. Our pasta's been resting in the fridge for about half an hour. It started to get a little bit firmer. So all that's left to do is take your pasta out of the cling film and get it onto a floured surface. A little bit more flour on the other side, and then with a rolling pin, you're just gonna roll down, start to get some length into that pasta. All pasta machines work differently. The basics are you've got a number scale on the side which determines the thickness of those bars, i.e. determines the thickness of your pasta. So for me, the lowest number, number 1, is actually the thickest gradient I can put this pasta through. So we're gonna take our handle in. Now you take that pasta where you flattened it down and then just pinch very, very gently one side of it. You're gonna feed that into your machine and then start to roll through. We're gonna go from 1 to 2 and then roll through again. Now at this stage, we've got a big flat tongue of pasta. And what we wanna make sure is that we've got 2 even sides to roll through that pasta machine. So how do you do that? You fold it like a book. You get one side in, a third, and then the other side in, a third. If you need to fold over again, that's absolutely fine, but what you're looking for is this square. Now turn it over, and with your rolling pin, you're just looking to push down across the pasta till you get this corrugated iron effect. And what that's doing is dispersing it evenly throughout the strip. So when you roll through, you end up with a nice even strip of pasta to go through the machine. So now we've got our strip. We go back up to 1, the thickest setting, and then just roll that through. And now we're just gonna work it down the gradients, down those numbers, giving it a good flour on each side, just so it doesn't stick together. And one tip when you're rolling a lot of pasta through your machine, when you get halfway through, pull the tongue over to the other side, and then collect all this concertinaed pasta at the bottom, and just pull it out. That's gonna make sure it doesn't crunch up, scrunch up, and get stuck together at the bottom of the machine. Down the numbers, tease it in, and then roll through. Now to check your pasta's thin enough, you just put your hand under it, and if you can just see your fingers, it lets you know that it's nearly paper thin and you'll have a beautiful bite on your ravioli. At this stage, your rolling's done. You can take the machine away, and what you're left with is this beautiful strip of pasta. So now we want to turn this into squares. Even size squares, so we have even size raviolis. We've got this little cutter, and we're basically going to make sure we've got enough pasta around that to be able to seal that thing together. So you want to cut the strips into about 10 centimeters. You can use a ruler or you can eyeball it. So what you're left with is these little squares. Some will be tops, some will be bottoms, but they should all roughly be the same size. Now when you're filling your raviolis, it can go horribly wrong. So you want to make sure you're using less mixture rather than more mixture. And you want to collect it in your spoon and then go down, place a pile in the center of your ravioli. Now what you want to do is pick up one of your squares, stretch it out very, very slightly, and then place over your beautiful salmon, using the sides of your fingers to pinch down and encase that stunning mix into the pasta. Put a little bit of flour on top just so your fingers don't start to stick, and then you can push it all in, creating your beautiful little ravioli. And we take our cutter, roll it very gently to plump up the ravioli in the middle, then push down, take away the excess. And there you have a beautiful little stunning salmon ravioli. Just going to place that onto your floured tray and get on with the next one. When I'm doing this, I'm making sure my thumbs are constantly floured so they don't stick to the top of the pasta. I'm just going to carry on wrapping these now until I've got at least 10. So once you've got all those beautiful parcels done onto a floured tray, we're just going to stick those in the fridge while we make the sauce. So for the sauce, we're making a cream and dill sauce. Pretty self-explanatory, right? But we need some base flavors in there, some sweetness, some zest to give it a little bit more life and a little bit more character. Now that starts with this banana shallot. You're gonna take it down to your board, take the top off, and then turn it around and take the root off. But you don't wanna take all of the root, just the very end, just the hairy bit. Now in half lengthways, and then starting from the root, you're just gonna peel off that first layer, and then as thin as you can, just slice through. So butter into your cold pan on a medium heat, and then just allow that to warm up and come to a foaming stage. Take your shallots and just place that into the pan. You need to put salt in at the start. That salt is going to draw out most of the moisture inside that shallot. Good hit of pepper for base seasoning. Stir those shallots around, and you're looking to saute them, sweat them, and break them down. And once they're properly sweated down and start to become slightly translucent, slightly see-through, go in with your cream. That bowl of lemon zest, this is when you get it in. So you've got the cream, you've got the sweetness from that shallot, and now we're going to hit it with the zest of the lemon. At this stage, you want to turn the heat up slightly and just get that to a rolling boil. Once that cream's up to the boil, just give it a taste, and there should be salt, heat of pepper, the sweetness of the shallot, and that beautiful round subtle hint of the lemon zest. Now at this stage, once you're up to the boil, we're going to turn it off, and that's because our base sauce is cooked. It's ready. You may have noticed I've got a pan of boiling water on behind me, so now I'm going to bring this to the front and get my raviolis blanched. Because we haven't salted the pasta, now's the time to salt the water. So a good pinch of salt goes in there. Our raviolis are back out the fridge. They're rested. They've started to firm up slightly. Get yourself a spatula, lift your raviolis, and then we're just gonna place those into the water. Whilst that pasta's in, you're gonna take the rest of your dill for your dill sauce, roll it up like before, and then slice through and get it straight into our sauce. A little touch of pepper just to up the spice slightly, because the inside of that ravioli is already cooked. It's the cooked salmon and the ricotta, which is ready to eat. All you're doing is cooking this fresh pasta. And because of the thickness of it, it's only going to take about 3 minutes to cook. So your sauce is warm with your dill stirred in. So what we want to do when these raviolis are cooked, which they're looking like they're done now, is take them out of that water and go straight onto our sauce. Now at this stage, when the pasta's in, you go back onto the heat. And once that's come up to the boil, just give your pan a little shake, and you want a really saucy, beautiful, thick, viscous pan of sauce. You don't stir it at this point because you don't want to break up those beautiful little delicate raviolis. Grab yourself a big spoon, find your ravioli, lift it up, place it onto your plate with loads of that sauce, with those chunks of shallot, beautiful flecks of lemon, the green hit of the dill, good pinch of black pepper, optional is a tablespoon of olive oil, and drizzle over the top, and then our beautiful ploushes of dill all over the top. And that's it, our stunning Alaska canned salmon ravioli done, with the hints of the dill, the perfume of that lemon zest, the vibrant squeeze of juice, the salt, the pepper, the richness from that cream and ricotta. This is an amazing dish with a really good level of pasta skill involved. Make it with your friends, make it with your family. That's my salmon ravioli done. Happy cooking.